Hi, everybody. This is Sean. Welcome back to the channel. So, I have an Instagram channel called The Firearms Trainer. It's called The Firearms Trainer, and I had about 7 people in my DM send me links to this video that I'm about to show you, and it's just so disturbing. It just made me upset for hours today. Basically, what you have is you have this establishment in San Diego County. In particular, this is Carlsbad, and you have some type of a restaurant, maybe it's a bar, maybe it's just a patio of a restaurant. I don't know. But what I do know is you have a male adult and he's shirtless and he's wearing blue jeans. And it looks like from the video, which doesn't have any audio, looks like you have two security officers that are having him leave or they're telling him to leave. And he is obviously not compliant. About a few seconds to the video, which I will show you very shortly, you have one of the security officers, bouncers, whatever you call them, pointing what appears to be an X26, maybe an M26 taser. It's certainly an older model taser at this person's face. The probes are discharged, and it appears that this individual is hit in the face. I mean, you see the wires, you see the probes that that fall back after hitting his face. At least one of them, and then you see the smoke, which is usually the nitrogen inside of the inside of the containers that's contained inside of that taser cartridge. I'm gonna play it, and we'll talk about this. And there you have it. Security officers being walked off by Carlsbad PD. You have the individual that doesn't have the shirt. Looks like he's crawling away, and some bystanders are going to appear to help him. Okay, look, I get it. I've worked private security. I worked law enforcement. I worked in bars. I worked in clubs. I worked in restaurants where there's tons of alcohol served. And there's always that irate individual. And unfortunately, there's some people that you cannot de escalate. And I'm pretty sure that this individual is one of those persons that you just cannot de escalate. The problem is he's not able to listen to your commands. He can't even understand or comprehend what it is you're trying to tell him. So it gets to the point where you either have to go hands on, you have to back off, or you have to call law enforcement. And either one of those three options is absolutely okay, depending on company policy. I'm not a hands on person, I'm not a hands off person. I'm a policy person. Follow those policies. And if you work for a security company, you need to be talking to your client and ask them what's acceptable. At what point do you want us to go hands on? And I also understand that possibly in Carlsbad, there might be a longer ETA for law enforcement. I think the argument for private security would be, well, it takes forever for law enforcement to show up in the area, so we're going to take matters into our own hands, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, arguably, right? So I don't understand that context, but what I do understand is this. Let me fast forward it. I mean, this individual security officer, he's pointing this taser at this guy's face. Now, some people say that it is pepper spray, right? I don't think it's pepper spray. The X26 models, even the one of the first line of taser products, the M models, it has a laser on it. You could see in midair the actual prongs like millimeters away from his face, and then that cloud of smoke, that's nitrogen, guys. I don't believe that at all is pepper spray. And if you think it's pepper spray, I mean, it could come from one of those pepper guns, but the standoff distance is way too close even for that. I would even argue that could be an assault with a deadly weapon. Now, I think this person was charged, the security officer was charged with assault with a deadly weapon, which is a felony, and also using a stun gun in an unlawful manner. So tasers are considered stun guns. Okay. Now, what is very upsetting to me is the placement of the probes. I am an Axon TASER instructor for all the models, and that is absolutely not acceptable. And you don't even have to be a TASER instructor to see that that's not acceptable. The only time that something that a probe placement like that would be acceptable and legally justified is if that person posed a lethal threat or a deadly threat to the security officers. Okay, then that would be absolutely justified. But in that case, I think the taser is probably the wrong tool. But I didn't see anything like that, guys. I saw a shirtless individual. I didn't see any sudden movements. I just don't think that that looks like it's a good use of force. And the security officer, get a good attorney. I mean, you have a lot of explaining to do. Um, maybe if you want to reach out to me and have a conversation. I understand there's always two sides to the story, but man, this does not look good at all. If you guys don't know already, I am pro private security in the most questionable times. But this time, I have I have difficulty comprehending the situation. And quite honest with you, I'm pretty pissed off. As you guys can tell by my voice, I'm probably sounding burned out to you guys, and I've been very burned out. I'm holding this full time job, but other things that I'm doing is I'm trying my best to help fight some of these crazy bills that work against private security officers. For example, SB 1203 and SB 1244. I was one of several individuals that fought really hard against that bill. Even AB 229. All these bills I was part of in the fight against it. I try so hard. You guys try so hard to professionalize the security industry, and here we have it. We have this situation. You know what really pisses me off, guys? We work so hard to make private security better. We make these videos. We write to our Congress people. We have our telephone conversations. We do FTO, field training officer duties, and this is what we're rewarded with, right? This is what we have to deal with. Is bad decision making. And I'm sick and tired of it. And I'm calling on all private security officers to have discussions with your partners. If you're a security company owner, or maybe you manage one of these companies, you need to have your own in-house training. No legitimate TASER instructor is going to recommend something like this. Okay, this is far from being a standard. Now, this is what's going to happen. This is why all of you should be pissed off. Because of this video, it's very possible that the state legislator might be creating bills that make it very difficult for you as security officers, especially in California, to carry a taser. Because of situations like this that we got to deal with. I mean, this is not good. This is not good. And I'm calling on the industry for change. Guys, if we don't police ourselves, if we don't change internally our professionalism, our standards, and our training, you know what's going to happen? The state is going to do it for us. The state is going to come up with all these regulations, and they're going to use this incident. Okay, this is not acceptable. Now let's talk about the partner, right? So this person's, obviously working with a partner. You have the individual that doesn't have a skull cap or beanie on the left of him, and it looks like he doesn't use force. But guys, there's something called legal intervention and failure to intercede. What that means is if you have an excessive force situation, and your partner is the subject of that force, you are legally obligated to intervene. Now, that's on the law enforcement level. The Powers to Arrest manual talks about legal intervention, but you don't have to legally intervene. Now, what I mean by that is, when I say legal, I'm not an attorney, it's not legal advice. I'm saying that there's nothing that I'm aware of in the California Penal Code or any of the California criminal codes that I'm aware of that requires you to physically intervene. Okay? But you want to know what's going to happen? When the legislator gets a hold of this video, they're going to create requirements for private security officers, especially in California, that's going to require you guys to physically intervene. or to intervene in some way, I wouldn't put it behind us that you might have to physically intervene. They did it to cops in California, and they're going to do it to you too. It's because situations like this. Now, with the partner's perspective, I, I can't be for certain that he knew that his partner was going to deploy the taser. We can't be certain on that. Now, there's a lot of Monday night quarterbackers that are going to say, "Yeah, I thought he did," or "I thought that he knew," or "There's no way that he didn't know." Um, this is the thing. Under stress, you may not know what's going on over here, and you might be tunnel visioned on the threat or whatever you perceive as the threat. So it's very possible that that might have happened. I've been in a lot of crazy situations in over 24, 25 years where I am I am laser focused on the subject, and I have no idea what my partner is doing next to me. And that also may involve OISs, officer involved shootings, whether that's security or law enforcement. You don't know if your partner is going to press the trigger or not. And honestly, I don't think that you should be focused on your partner. I think the focus should be on the person who's a threat of you. And that's the problem, right? But obviously this security company, hopefully that they are they're complying with all the state laws. If you're in California and you're a proprietary security company, which basically means that you just work for one employer, you cannot have. I don't think that you can have a stun gun, right, and a taser stun gun, without having a PPO license, a private patrol operator license. You can't have any deadly weapon and also be a PPO. Traditionally, tasers are not deadly weapons, but guys, when you point them at someone's face, they become a deadly weapon. Okay. Let's watch the video one more time for those of you who are barely coming into the stream. There you have it. Now, there's probably a bunch of footage before this incident. I'm pretty sure they try to de-escalate as much as possible, but what the state legislator doesn't understand is that sometimes you cannot de-escalate the situation, and sometimes using a less lethal option, although it's force, is de-escalation. But here, this is probably de-escalation. Again, I was just gonna say I'm not an expert at force, but that's topic of something else. Let's watch it further. Here he goes. Guys, look at the security officer's face. You think this is worth it? Honestly, I mean, you're booked on a felony. And God forbid that one of the prongs hit this individual's eyes and blinds him. You want to know what happens? You know what that's called? It's called mayhem. It's called mayhem. It's the same penalty if you slice someone's body part off, or if you slice an individual's ear off, or just slice it, right? That's called mayhem. If you invalidate someone's eye, that's mayhem. And I think the punishment, it was like minimum of like 3 years in state prison. State prison. Look at this individual's face. You think $20 an hour, $30 an hour, $40 an hour was worth it? I wouldn't even say $100 an hour is worth it. Guys, we need to make better decisions, okay? Sometimes it's okay to take a step back. Sometimes it's okay to say, hey, partner, partner, I got this. I'll deal with it. Just go ahead and call the cops for me. So I wasn't there, but something that you can do is when you see your partner's emotionally charged, hey, partner, don't worry, I got this. Do me a huge favor, and can you walk on the side over there and go ahead and call local PD. Give them a call, let them know what our address is, and let them know the description of him. He's wearing a blue jeans and no shirt, and here's a description. It's too loud right here because he's yelling at us. Partner, I need you to go over there. That's something that you can do, and I think that can actually help de-escalate the situation. Anyhow, I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about the situation? Okay, what are some other options? Overall thoughts, opinions, and also, ladies and gentlemen, please share this video with as many people as you can. Text it to other people, email it to other people, and even have a team debrief. And feel free to play this video during your briefing sessions, during your training sessions as well. And after this video, have that discussion with the team. All right, guys, that's all I got. If I have any other information, I'll put it in the description box below. Take care.